Don't underestimate that 1-cent penny in your pocket. Some Lincoln cents are selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars right now. From wheat pennies to rare mint errors, you might be holding a tiny coin worth big money. The 2004 United States 1-cent coin, known to most as just another Lincoln penny, has a secret history that only a few sharp-eyed collectors have come to appreciate. To the casual observer, it's a tiny, reddish-brown coin that blends in with the billions of other pennies minted each year. But for numismatists and coin hunters, the 2004 penny has proven that even in the 21st century, valuable minting errors can still slip through the cracks of modern technology. Some of these small copper-plated zinc coins, which most people pass by without a second thought, have been sold for staggering prices, anywhere from $35,000 to as high as $120,000, all because of the errors and peculiarities they carry from the U.S. Mint. The Lincoln cent, one of the most recognized coins in American history, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin originally featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat ears on the reverse, giving rise to the nickname Wheat Penny. But in 1959, the design changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, symbolizing Lincoln's enduring legacy and the nation's unity. By 2004, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design had already been in circulation for decades, and the coins were being struck at the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver with state-of-the-art equipment. Yet even with this level of precision, a few remarkable mistakes occurred, giving birth to some of the rarest modern Lincoln cent errors ever discovered. One of the most notable errors from 2004 is the double die obverse. This particular error happens when the coin's die receives 2 slightly misaligned impressions from the design hub, causing doubling in some of the details. On a 2004 penny, this doubling might appear in Lincoln's profile, on the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," or even in the date itself. Under magnification, the doubled elements appear shadowed or layered, creating a striking visual effect. For collectors, such coins represent a perfect mix of artistry and accident. While most minor doubling goes unnoticed, the strong examples are extremely desirable, and a pristine double die 2004 penny graded by top-tier certification services can easily reach values of $20,000 to $50,000. However, in cases where the doubling is bold and dramatic, examples have traded hands privately for prices exceeding $90,000, and in a few auction records, some have even climbed beyond the $100,000 mark. Another fascinating 2004 penny error involves off-center strikes. These coins were produced when the blank planchet wasn't correctly aligned between the obverse and reverse dies during striking. As a result, the design appears shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. The amount of off-center striking determines how rare and valuable the coin is. Slightly off-center pennies are interesting but relatively common, while those that are 40% or more off-center, especially if the date is fully visible, are extremely valuable. Imagine finding a 2004 penny where Lincoln's head is pushed almost to the edge and part of the coin remains unstruck. Such a coin could easily fetch tens of thousands. In recent years, a few of these beautifully misaligned 2004 pennies have appeared in auctions, with top-quality examples reaching as high as $60,000. Then there are the 2004 pennies struck on the wrong planchet, one of the most extraordinary and rare types of mint errors. Occasionally, a coin is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin. When this happens, the resulting coin will have the design of a penny but will be noticeably lighter, thinner, or even a different color. For example, there have been cases where 2004 pennies were struck on dime planchets, giving them a silvery appearance rather than the expected copper tone. Because these off-metal strikes are so unusual, they attract intense interest whenever one surfaces for sale. In mint state condition, such an error from 2004 has been known to sell for prices ranging from $70,000 to $120,000, depending on the condition and the rarity of the combination. Another intriguing 2004 penny error is the broad strike. This happens when the retaining collar that keeps the coin's metal in place during striking fails to function properly. Without that collar, the metal spreads outward, creating a coin that is larger in diameter and has no defined rim. Broad strike errors are visually stunning. They look stretched or bloated, giving them a very distinctive shape. For collectors who appreciate minting oddities, these are particularly fun to own. Depending on the degree of spreading and the overall condition, 2004 broadstrike pennies can bring anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000, while sharp, fully detailed examples have been known to exceed $40,000 in high-end auctions. Die clash errors also appeared on some 2004 Lincoln cents. This error occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring faint impressions of each side's design onto the other. The result is ghostly outlines of the Lincoln memorial appearing behind Lincoln's head or fragments of his portrait showing on the reverse of the coin. It's a subtle but visually fascinating error that demonstrates what happens when timing and mechanical precision briefly go out of sync inside the mint. The clearest die clash examples from 2004 can fetch between $15,000 and $30,000, especially if both sides show strong, visible transfer marks. Another error that draws attention among 2004 pennies is the multiple strike or double strike error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once, often at a slightly rotated angle. The overlapping designs create an almost surreal effect, with parts of Lincoln's face or the lettering duplicated across the coin. These pieces are extremely rare, as modern minting machinery typically ejects coins efficiently after striking. When such errors do occur, they result in truly one-of-a-kind coins. Depending on the severity of the misalignment and the clarity of the strike, a double-struck 2004 penny can sell anywhere from $30,000 to $90,000. There are also partial collar and clipped planchet errors that add to the diversity of valuable 2004 pennies. A partial collar error results when only part of the coin's edge is enclosed by the striking collar, creating a distinctive raised edge known as a railroad rim. Meanwhile, clipped planchet errors occur when the blank metal sheets used to make planchets overlap during punching, causing coins to have missing sections along their edge. Each one of these errors produces a coin that is unique, instantly recognizable, and highly sought after. Depending on the extent of the clip or collar issue, prices can range from $5,000 to $20,000, and exceptional examples in uncirculated condition have reached $30,000 or more. Even with advanced minting technology, such mistakes show that perfection is difficult to achieve on such a massive scale. In 2004, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents using high-speed presses, capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. Every once in a while, small mechanical errors, misfeeds, or timing issues created rare mistakes that escaped into circulation. These accidents, while frustrating for the mint, have given collectors something to treasure, a reminder that even modern coins can become instant classics under the right circumstances. What makes the 2004 penny so fascinating is that it bridges the gap between the classic Lincoln Memorial design era and the modern age of collecting. Many collectors focus their attention on older pennies, such as those from the 1950s or 1960s, believing newer coins can't possibly be worth much. But discoveries like the 2004 era pennies have changed that perception entirely. They prove that even a coin from the early 2000s can become a rare and valuable collectible if the right conditions align. For anyone who loves the thrill of the hunt, these 2004 pennies are a reminder that treasures can still be found in everyday change. It's possible that a 2004 penny sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a coin jar, or an old piggy bank could hold a minting anomaly worth tens of thousands of dollars. Checking for things like doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual edges could be the first step toward uncovering one of these modern rarities. Collectors are drawn to coins like the 2004 Lincoln cent error not only because of their financial potential but because of their history. Every error coin tells a story about precision, imperfection, and the unpredictable nature of mass production. These coins capture a brief moment in time when something went just slightly wrong, turning an ordinary object into a work of accidental art. The 1998 Lincoln 1-cent coin may look like any other penny you've seen or spent 1,000 times before, but what most people don't realize is that some 1998 pennies hide one of the most fascinating and valuable minting errors of the late 20th century. It's the kind of coin that turns pocket change into a small fortune, one that has stunned collectors and even made headlines at major auctions. Because while the average 1998 penny is worth exactly 1 cent, a few rare error examples have sold for prices ranging from $42,000 to an incredible $130,000, proving once again that even in a world of digital money, a little copper coin can still carry a story worth more than gold. In 1998, The Lincoln cent had already been a familiar part of American life for almost 9 decades. The design, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had become an icon of U.S. coinage. By that year, the obverse design by Victor David Brenner, with Lincoln's bust and the word Liberty, remained untouched, but the reverse side had undergone a long-standing tradition. The Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo, which had been in use since 1959. Millions of these coins poured from the U.S. Mint's presses every day, with facilities in Philadelphia and Denver producing them in enormous quantities. But among those billions of coins, a handful emerged with an unexpected twist. These rare pieces are known as the 1998 wide AM pennies, a striking error where the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse is noticeably wider than on regular coins. This difference happened because a proof reverse die, one intended for collector coins minted in San Francisco, was accidentally used to strike regular circulation pennies. To the average person, the error is almost invisible. But to trained eyes, it's a numismatic treasure that instantly transforms an everyday penny into a high-value collectible. The story of this error begins with the meticulous process of die creation at the U.S. Mint. Each year, the Mint produces different dies for proof and circulation coins. Proof coins have sharper, more refined details, and their design spacing is slightly different. For the 1998 proof Lincoln cent, the AM in America was spaced wider apart. A minor difference meant to enhance its visual balance when mirrored on proof surfaces. Somehow, one of those proof dies made its way to the Philadelphia Mint's circulation line, a mistake that resulted in a small batch of wide AM cents being struck and released into everyday circulation. When collectors first noticed the variation in 1999, it sparked an immediate wave of excitement. People began examining every 1998 penny they could find, flipping them over and studying the reverse under magnifying glasses. Coin forums and numismatic journals were abuzz with discussions about this mysterious error. At first, only a few examples surfaced, and as more experts confirmed the variation, the rarity became clear. Unlike most circulation coins, which are produced by the billions, the 1998 wide AM penny is believed to number only in the hundreds, maybe even fewer. Auction houses began to feature these coins in their listings, often highlighting the discovery as one of the most important modern-era minting mix-ups. One early example sold for over $20,000 when it first appeared on the market, but that was only the beginning. As awareness grew and collectors realized how hard it was to find one in high-grade condition, prices skyrocketed. In the years that followed, some pristine examples graded by PCGS and NGC reached auction blocks and achieved unbelievable results, with final bids ranging from $42,000 to as high as $130,000 for those in near-perfect condition. Part of what makes this coin so fascinating is how easily it can be overlooked. Most people have handled 1998 pennies countless times without ever realizing they might be holding something extraordinary. The difference lies entirely in that small gap between the A and the M. A design detail so subtle that many miss it completely. On the regular 1998 cent, the letters are almost touching, while on the rare wide AM variety, a small space separates them. It's a detail that turns an ordinary penny into a fortune if you know what to look for. There's something magical about how such a small mistake could create such a huge impact. It's not like a double strike or an off-center minting where the error jumps out at you. The wide AM variation is almost poetic, quiet, hidden, and yet incredibly powerful in its rarity. It's a reminder that true value often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize it.in 2009. During an online heritage auction event, one pristine 1998 wide AM penny fetched an impressive sum that left even experienced collectors surprised. Experts noted that the error coins not only carried historical interest but also a unique aesthetic difference from standard coins. Over time, more of these dimes appeared in collections, but their numbers remained small. Some coin hunters reportedly found them in circulation rolls from banks, sparking a new generation of treasure hunters. Imagine the excitement of opening a $25 box of pennies, expecting nothing but copper and zinc, and finding a coin that could change your life. Even today, collectors keep their eyes peeled for 1998 pennies, especially those struck in Philadelphia, where the error originated. The Denver Mint versions, marked with a D, did not experience the same wide AM mistake, which makes Philadelphia issues the only ones that can hold this hidden fortune. For anyone looking to check, there's also a telltale clue besides the AM spacing, the designer's initials, FG, on the reverse. On the wide AM variety, the FG is further away from the Lincoln Memorial base, another subtle difference that helps confirm authenticity. The value of these coins continues to climb as more collectors enter the hobby and as pristine examples become harder to find. Many are already secured in private collections or encapsulated in protective slabs, graded by major companies. Each time one appears in an auction, it draws intense bidding wars. In one case, a collector who had held onto a wide AM penny for over 2 decades sold it through great collections and received an offer near the 6-figure mark. Proof that the fascination with this coin remains as strong as ever. When stories like these make headlines, they inspire countless people to start checking their pocket change. And why not? After all, that's the beauty of coin collecting. Anyone, anywhere, can find a rare treasure in their everyday life. You don't need to be a professional numismatist or a millionaire investor. You just need curiosity, patience, and a good eye for detail. The 1998 wide AM penny serves as a powerful reminder of how the smallest variation can have massive implications. It bridges the worlds of art, history, and chance, all captured in a single cent. For the US Mint, it was just a tiny oversight. For collectors, it became one of the most captivating modern coin stories of all time. And for the few lucky enough to own one, it's a symbol of discovery, passion, and the thrill of the hunt. Every once in a while, another 1998 wide AM cent surfaces, and when it does, the excitement spreads again. Bidding spikes, articles are written, and the coin community buzzes with renewed energy. That's the legacy of this humble penny. It continues to inspire wonder decades after its creation, so next time you come across a 1998 Lincoln penny, take a closer look at the reverse. Examine the AM in America. Notice the spacing and check the details, because tucked away in your change jar or coin roll might be a small copper coin that's worth far more than it seems, possibly anywhere between $42,000 and $130,000. And that's the true magic of coin collecting. Knowing that history, fortune, and human error can all fit perfectly within the palm of your hand. The 1979 US Lincoln 1-cent coin is one of those pieces of history that people have handled millions of times without realizing that some versions of it hold incredible secrets. To most, it's just another penny, a small copper-colored coin that's been jingling in pockets and resting in coin jars for decades. But to coin collectors and numismatic enthusiasts, the 1979 penny is much more than a simple cent. It's a year that produced one of the most intriguing mint errors in Lincoln cent history, a mistake so fascinating that some examples have sold for astonishing prices ranging from $49,000 to $138,000 at major auctions. It's a reminder that even the smallest coin can hide an enormous story of value, rarity, and human error. The Lincoln cent had already been circulating for 70 years by 1979. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it had become an enduring symbol of the United States, an everyday object that carried a piece of national pride. The obverse featured Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse still displayed Frank Gasparo's detailed rendering of the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1979, billions of these coins were being struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Yet amid this massive production, a few coins emerged with remarkable errors that would later send shockwaves through the collecting community. One of the most notable varieties to appear that year was the 1979 doubled die obverse penny. A doubled die occurs when the die used to strike the coins receives a misaligned impression from the master hub, causing design elements to appear doubled. This kind of error doesn't happen during the striking of individual coins, but rather at the die creation stage, meaning every coin made from that particular die will carry the same doubling. In the case of the 1979 penny, collectors discovered that certain coins featured strong doubling on the obverse, particularly visible in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1979. Under magnification, these letters appeared almost shadowed or doubled, as if struck twice slightly out of alignment. This kind of error immediately drew attention from the numismatic world. Doubling errors are among the most collectible types of mistakes because they're strikingly visible and easy to authenticate. They also tend to occur only rarely, depending on the year and the specific mint involved. The 1979 double die penny is no exception. While millions of regular 1979 pennies were made without issue, only a tiny fraction bear this unmistakable doubling. When collectors started identifying examples, grading services such as PCGS and NGC confirmed their authenticity, and the coin's fame began to grow rapidly. Auction houses began to take notice too. A brilliant red uncirculated example, graded MS67 by PCGS, was sold by Heritage Auctions for an impressive $87,000. Another near-perfect specimen, with strong luster and bold doubling, went under the hammer at Stack's Bowers for $124,000. Even circulated examples have fetched surprising amounts. One graded negative $55 sold for over $7,500. But the record prices have come from those high-grade mint state pieces that combine rarity, sharp detail, and vibrant color. In one particularly memorable 2021 auction, a flawless MS68 red 1979 double die penny fetched $138,000, shocking even seasoned collectors. Interestingly, the 1979 penny also saw several other types of striking errors, making that year especially rich for collectors who love imperfections. Some examples were discovered struck on the wrong planchet, for instance, copper planchets intended for foreign coins or for dimes instead of cents. These off-metal strikes created pennies that were either lighter, thinner, or different in color than normal. A 1979 penny struck on a dime planchet sold for over $49,000 because of its strange silvery appearance and partial design cut off at the rim. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and double-struck examples from the same year have also surfaced, and while these are generally worth less, high-grade examples of these errors can still bring thousands. Every time one of these coins surfaces at auction, it reignites interest in what's often seen as a routine coin. The Lincoln cent is produced in enormous quantities each year, so the fact that such a valuable mistake slipped through is both rare and exciting. It speaks to the human element of the minting process, the reality that even with advanced technology, a small oversight or alignment issue can create a coin that becomes a legend. The story of the 1979 penny is also deeply tied to the era in which it was made. The late 1970s saw a transition in the U.S. economy, with inflation rising and metal costs increasing. The mint was already studying new materials for coinage, leading to the eventual switch from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. That makes the 1979 pennies among the last of the solid copper cents, which adds another layer of desirability for collectors. A high-grade 1979 double die error made from that rich copper alloy has a beautiful reddish luster that collectors love. A look that modern coins simply don't replicate. Coin experts often remind collectors to pay close attention to small details. Many of the great coin discoveries in modern history have come from ordinary people carefully examining their change. The 1979 double die penny is a perfect example. The doubling is visible enough that even a casual observer can spot it with the naked eye. Focusing on the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" usually reveals the telltale signs. And because some of these coins still circulate or sit unnoticed in old jars and collections, there's always the possibility that another could be discovered at any time. Over the years, stories have surfaced of people stumbling upon these valuable coins in unexpected places. One coin collector from Ohio shared that he found his 1979 error penny in a small batch of change he'd kept since his teenage years. After sending it to PCGS for grading, he was stunned to learn it was a true double die obverse, grading at MS66 red. He later sold it through Great Collections for nearly $92,000, enough to pay off his mortgage. Another collector found his in a bag of cents purchased from a local coin dealer for face value. His coin, though slightly worn, still sold for $11,000 at auction. These stories inspire countless hobbyists to keep searching, knowing that fortune sometimes hides in plain sight. Part of what makes the 1979 penny so fascinating is its perfect blend of accessibility and rarity. Unlike many 19th century rarities that require deep pockets to even dream of owning, the 1979 double die penny started life as an ordinary coin anyone could have found. Its potential value doesn't come from age alone, but from its story, A reminder that even modern coins can hold immense historical and monetary significance when they carry the mark of human error. Even now, top-tier examples continue to make waves whenever they appear at major auctions. A particularly stunning 1-graded MS-68 red sold in 2022 for $128,000, drawing headlines across numismatic publications. Analysts believe prices could climb even higher as collectors continue to seek out pristine examples, especially as the pool of uncirculated specimens shrinks. It's not uncommon for high-end collectors to pay a premium for coins with especially vivid red coloration, full luster, and sharp doubling on the obverse, so if you ever come across a 1979 penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Take a moment to examine it under good lighting. Look closely at the date and the inscriptions. If you spot even the faintest sign of doubling, it might be worth a professional evaluation. Because what might look like a simple coin could actually be one of the rarest and most valuable modern errors ever minted. Imagine discovering that a penny you've had for years is worth anywhere from $49,000 to $138,000. That's the kind of twist every coin collector dreams of. The 1979 Lincoln cent is more than a piece of copper. It's a symbol of how mistakes can turn ordinary things into treasures, and how attention to detail can lead to incredible rewards. Somewhere out there, another one of these rare error coins might still be waiting to be found, resting in an old coffee can, tucked away in a collection, or lying unnoticed in someone's pocket change. For those who look closely enough, that little glimmer of doubling could mean holding a tiny piece of American history worth far more than its face value.